Hey, welcome back to First Time Feast. I'm your host, Bobby Perko. I got some delicious stuff for you tonight. I'm going to show you how to make a blackened Atlantic salmon with a garlic butter lemon caper sauce over some Idaho red mashed potatoes. It's going to be super delicious. I can't wait for you to give it a try at home. Let's get after it. All right, so the first thing we're going to want to do, guys, we're going to get our potatoes going. So for those of you at home that are listening, it takes approximately 20 to 22 minutes to get potatoes to cook and boil. So what we got to do, we got to get these guys working in the pot immediately, okay? So let's not play around and let's get these guys going. So we're going to go ahead and go with 4 Idaho red potatoes. I love red mashed potatoes. So, you know, when you're eating your mashed potatoes and you got just a little bit of that peel in there. So what we're going to do, we are going to quarter these guys down. We're going to break them down into kind of smaller chunks. The smaller, the better, because that allows them to boil even faster. So we're just gonna cube these up and get these guys going. Set those aside here. Same thing. These are beautiful potatoes. They're not too hard. They're not too soft. They're a really good texture. So they're gonna make a really nice, creamy, ooey gooey, buttery mashed potato for a base. This is gonna be really, really delicious. So lately I've been kind of trying to get on a health kick. It's that time where, you know, not feeling the best. So salmon has been a more integral part of my dietary lifestyle. I love salmon, so there's a lot of ways that I like to do salmon. This one, because there is a lot of butter in it, I mean, there's probably not the healthiest way of doing it, but you could kind of change things up, add some avocado oils and whatnot, and make it a little bit better. But so what we're gonna do with this, we're gonna go ahead, take these potatoes, and we're gonna go straight into the pot of boiling water. Okay, so we're gonna get these guys in right away. Watch out for the splashback. All right, so those guys are going. We got basically 20 to 22 minutes before those guys are ready to go, and we can get those turning into some wonderful, beautiful, creamy mashed potatoes. Okay, so we're gonna let those go, forget about those. So now what we're gonna do, the prime star of the dish, we got this beautiful Atlantic salmon. So do yourselves a favor, guys. Go to your local Costco, pick yourself up a big old side of salmon. You can get a huge salmon that'll portion out to be roughly 8 portions, if not 10. And you can usually get it for about $25 to $30, okay? I went to Hy-Vee the other day, and I love Hy-Vee, but man, they're pricing themselves out of the market. A tiny little fillet this size was $12, where I can get a whole freaking fillet for $25, okay? So portion it up, vacuum seal it, that's what I do. I make them, you know, just enough for dinner and lunch the next day, and it makes a wonderful meal. So I'm gonna show you what we're gonna be cooking tonight. So first thing, we're seasoning it. We're making a blackened salmon. So we got all of these wonderful seasonings here, and in no particular order, we're gonna have our garlic powder, our salt, our pepper, our paprika, our lemon pepper, and then, you know, my favorite, my slap yo mama, okay? So there's no real particular measurement to really go with for this. Just, you know, you wanna cover it. My blackened salmon is simply just blackened by the spices. We're not gonna like murder it in the skillet. You know, you want to like just slightly cook your salmon to where it's just, you know, perfectly done. So we're going to kick this thing off with our black pepper. So we're going to season both sides of this, but we're going to go one side first, and then we're going to go ahead and flip it. So we're going to hit it with our black pepper. We want to get a nice coating of our black pepper. This thing is, when it's all said and done, guys, is going to be freaking beautiful. Okay, now we're going to lighten it up with some garlic powder and change it up. Okay, and this is going to be heavy, heavy, heavy on the seasonings. Salt, we want to do a little bit of a nice coating here, nothing crazy. Now for that color, we're going to add a little bit of color with that paprika. Maybe. I think I used it all. We're about tapped on paprika. There we go. There's a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead with lemon pepper. I've never really been a huge lemon fan, but in moderation, it makes for a really, really tasty addition to a lot of entrees. I make a really good Cajun lemon hot wing. Freaking awesome. I think you saw it on a recent episode here. Okay, so then we're gonna go ahead and kick it off with some slap yo mama. Now we got it all beautifully seasoned. We're gonna flip it and we're gonna do it again, and not in no particular order. Okay, so we're gonna flip her over and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna season her up again. So just go ahead, get our pepper, season that guy up there. I like a lot of pepper, especially for this. It really, when you see this finished product, it's gonna freaking pop, man. It's gonna be really, really pretty. Heavy on the garlic this time, that's okay. Just a little bit of our salt. A little bit of our salt. we're gonna try to get some of this out of here. I don't think we got much. All right, and then hit it with our lemon pepper. And we're gonna finish it off with our Slap Ya Mama again. Okay, so our salmon fillets are beautifully, beautifully seasoned. We're gonna move our seasonings out of the way for the time being, and we're gonna get our stove cranked up to a nice medium heat. Okay, so the heat is on. Watching some Top Gun now, and then we're gonna go ahead and get our olive oil into the pan. So for this, guys, salmon is one of those things that can be really temperamental if you're cooking at home. You want to make sure that your cooking surface is, one, lubricated very, very well, and two, the heat is pretty high. These little ranges get a really hot temperature. Even on medium, they're very, very hot. When you're cooking at home on those convection ovens, those stovetops, they don't really get that hot that fast. So this, you want to get a nice sear, and you want to allow the meat to kind of release on its own. If you try to flip it too soon, it's going to stick, you're just going to burn, it's going to fall apart, and you're going to have a really ugly mess on your hands. So we're going to try my luck. I got 4 attempts at this. Hopefully we can get a banger out of it, okay? So we're going to let our heat come up to temp just a little bit, and then we're going to get started. Okay. I think we are there. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and grab our first piece of salmon. So remember, guys, when you're cooking with hot oil, always drop away from the body. You don't want to drop it towards you because that's going to splash, create a little miniature tsunami of hot oil. It's going to go straight into the face, and you are not going to have a good time. So we're going to go ahead and drop this guy in. Listen to it sizzle and sear. We're going to go ahead and go with our next little piece. Same thing, drop it away from you. And then our last little one here, again, drop it away. Okay, so these aren't going to take a whole heck of a lot of time to cook. Salmon is it's a flaky fish, it's a meaty fish, really, really delicious. You watch all those cooking shows on TV, and they like their salmon just like so lightly, delicately cooked to where it's almost kind of raw in the middle. I personally don't like it that way. I kind of am in between, like I like a well-cooked fish, but I also like to have a little bit of that flakiness, those juices going in there. So this is going to be really, really good. We're going to let these things cook down here for a couple of seconds. I'm going to clean up my board, and we're going to get ready for the next piece. Okay, so all right, so this salmon has been going for roughly 45 seconds on one side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my little spatula here. I'm going to delicately just look underneath it just to kind of see how she's looking. Needs just a couple more seconds, I think. This is not super helpful. Let's try this one out. Okay, so what we're going to do too, while that's going, we're going to help it out. We're going to add a little bit of our salted butter to this. Everything's better with a stick of butter, baby. That's just the laws of cooking. Not the laws of weight loss, but it's the laws of cooking. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and toss that in there. And I think it's time to go ahead and give them a flip. Let's see. All right, that's nice and golden. Let's go for number 2. We want to flip away from ourselves. Oop, almost lost her. Take 2, strike 3, and you're out. All right, we got 2 that are pretty good. 3, not too shabby. And 4, can we go 4 for 4? Yeah, we can get 4 for 4. Okay, so these are looking good. We got our butter going. So as you've seen, when you do like a pan-seared steak, or you do, pan-seared pork chops, you kind of want to get, all those flavors in the pan to where you can kind of baste them just a little bit. So we're going to toss this down just a little bit. We're going to bring our oil over, and we're just going to kind of let these salmon fillets just sizzle. It's going to add a little bit more flavor to them. It's going to cook them all the way through. Gonna give them some nice color. They are just glistening, guys. Super, super good. Super, super delicious. The color is just super vibrant and they're nice and crispy. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So what we're gonna do, we are going to take them out of the pan here in just a couple of seconds. Gonna give them a couple more minutes to cook all the way through. And what we could even do here now is we can add just a touch of some parsley to them. Ideally, you would want to have some fresh parsley to make them look even better, but not gonna lie, these are pretty dang beautiful already. Okay, so we got our salmon is looking good, so we're gonna pull this out for the meantime. Man, would you look at this salmon, guys? It is freaking beautiful. And look at that salmon. That is just beautiful, 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 beautiful. So we just took the salmon off. We're gonna go ahead and start our lemon butter caper sauce now, okay? This is really, really good. It's ooey, it's gooey, it's delicious, it's fresh, it's light, it's vibrant. Awesome. And it's really, really simple to make. That's the best part. Okay, so what we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna go ahead and work on our shallots. If you don't have shallots, you can totally use red onion, but ideally, you know, spend the extra couple seconds at the grocery store, look for these shallots. They're gonna make they're gonna make a lot of difference. Okay, shallots are a little bit lighter. They're not so pungent, right? And they're gonna be less you know, have less of a bite than what a red onion's gonna have. So we're gonna go ahead and just break this shallot down. We're gonna kind of go for some small little chunks with this guy. Okay, shallots are broken down. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna break down our clove of garlic. If you watched this show before, you know how I feel about garlic. I absolutely love it. I put fresh garlic in just about everything. I'm pretty sure with Halloween coming up, there's no vampires coming near me because I'm always eating garlic. So we're gonna break this up. We're gonna do the exact same type of cut with this. We're gonna mince it up pretty fine. Okay, so we got garlic, we got our shallots. And then the last thing that we're gonna wanna do, we're gonna wanna zest some lemon. So we're gonna get our lemon here. We're gonna get our grater and we're gonna zest some lemon. So this is gonna add a nice freshness to our sauce. If you don't like lemon or you don't have fresh lemon on hand, you can actually use some lemon pepper as a substitute. Okay, we're gonna go with just a little bit more. This smells so freaking good, guys. It's really, you know, smells like you're cleaning the kitchen. Okay, so we got our lemon zest and we got our pan going. It's gonna be at a nice medium-high heat. So first thing that we're gonna wanna do, we're gonna wanna add in our shallots first, okay? We're gonna let those go and we're gonna let those saute down. Okay, so we're gonna get our shallots in there. And then what we're gonna do, I've used capers on the show before. They are, you know, they're just like little salty buds, okay? They're a little flower bud that grows near Greece in the Mediterranean. I used to absolutely hate these things growing up, but now I love them. So go ahead and add as few or as plentiful as you like. I kind of went a little bit heavy-handed on the shallots or on the capers, but I personally like them a lot. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, let this start cooking down. We're gonna get our heat turned down just a little bit. It's kind of popping out of control here. We're gonna let those saute down, and then we're going to do just about 3 tablespoons of butter. We're gonna add our butter in here. Let that go. This sauce is gonna be really, really tasty, guys. Okay, so while that butter's going, we're gonna mix this around. This is gonna make such a delicious topping. You can put this on steaks, you can put this on pork chops, really you name it. Other types of fish. Okay, so now we're gonna add in our garlic. You want to add garlic close to the end because it has a really high smoke point and it will burn really, really easily, guys. So we're going to add our garlic, give this a little bit of a stir. And then, now that this is kind of sauteing down, the shallots are starting to become a little bit more opaque. We're going to add in our lemon zest. Go ahead and scrape this up. Add our lemon zest in. Okay, so that's looking good. That's going to be really fragrant. It's going to allow all of this stuff just to kind of sing, bring it all together. And then lastly, we're going to go, so ideally you want to use heavy cream. I didn't have any heavy cream on hand, so this is just a perfect example of why and how you can make substitutions. So we're going to go with some half and half today. We're not going to use a lot. We're only going to go with about maybe a quarter of a cup. Okay, so we're going to add some half and half, and we're going to let this cook down. Okay, so that's going to cook all together. Let that go. And then now we're going to season this with some black pepper. Okay, a little bit of salt. We're going to about a half of a teaspoon there, and then we're going to add just some color with our parsley. Okay. So we're going to give this a little bit of a stir. We're almost done with this sauce. We're going to pull the heat down, and our potatoes from earlier should be just about reaching their done point. So we're going to turn the heat on this off, and we are going to check on our potatoes. That's hot. So I always like to do, my mom always told me to do fork tender, right? So you're going to take your fork, you're going to find a couple of the biggest potatoes in there, and you're just going to poke them. And depending on the, the resistance, that'll kind of tell you how much time they have left. So these potatoes aren't quite done. I'm going to stir them around a little bit, make sure that they're, they're kind of migrating through the pot. They're going to need probably another couple of minutes before they're done, but that's okay. They're just about there. So we'll just give our sauce a nice little stir. If you had some white wine, you could have cooked some white wine into this and made just a, a little bit more effervescent of a sauce, but we didn't have any today, so that's okay. We're just going to finish it off this way here. Heat back up. Add. This heavy cream does not work the way I want it to. All right, let's go in for a little bit of a taste test with this sauce. It's salty, it's briny. It's got a little bit of that lemon zest coming through. It's really, really nice. It's really, really nice. So it's gonna add for a nice added flavor over the top of the salmon. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go ahead and pull our mashed potatoes, and we're gonna start making some really creamy Idaho red mashed potatoes. Alrighty guys, so we got our sauce all wrapped up. Our potatoes just hit their 22-minute mark. I checked them with the fork. They are fork tender, so we're gonna go ahead and drain these out, and we're gonna go get started on our Idaho red mashed potatoes. Let's get it. Okay, so this is gonna be a little on the toasty side. So let's grab this off here. Let that water drain out of there completely before we sling it across the counter here. All right. So these potatoes are looking pretty good. We're going to go ahead and dump these guys right into our bowl here. Toss that back in our water. Turn our heat off. Okay. So for me, when I like to do my mashed potatoes, I'm going to go ahead and do our remnant of our stick of butter. So we got about a half a stick of butter here. We're going to toss that in there. We're going to go ahead and season this with, again, I would like to use my heavy cream, but I do have some half and half. So we're going to add a little bit of this half and half. I like to season my mashed potatoes pretty much with just salt and pepper. You can use garlic powder too, onion powder, chives, dill, whatever you like. So I'm going to hit with our black pepper. Going to hit it with our salt. So the parsley literally just adds color. It doesn't do anything other than add some color. And then I'm going to hit it with just a little bit of some garlic powder. Okay, so we got some garlic powder in there. I don't have a stationary mixer today, but we're going to go ahead and do it old school here. So we're just going to start mashing our potatoes. Get everything all nice and mashed in the bowl here. And do it the old school way, right? Make some nice ooey gooey, creamy, delicious mashed potatoes. All that butter, all that cream is going to really go a long way in making some really, really good potatoes, guys. And you got those skins on there, not too much, not too little. That's going to make for a really, really good bite. It's going to make for a really good creamy mashed potato. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit it with a little bit more salt. And just a little bit more pepper. Give it one more quick mix, and then we're going to be on to plating, guys. Okay, so beautiful, looking good. Okay, so we got that set aside. We're going to go ahead and grab our plate. Let's wipe her down real quick. We want a pretty presentation for this because we worked hard on it, right? We're hungry. We just got off work. We're ready to eat. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. So we're going to go ahead and get a nice spoon of these creamy, delicious mashed potatoes. Put that right there. These are really good, guys. Okay, then our beautiful, beautiful salmon from earlier. Would you look at that? That is just absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to go ahead, place that up there like so. Okay. And then for the Feast de Resistance, we're going to go ahead and hit it with our caper lemon butter cream sauce. Okay. Let's go ahead and just pour some on there like that. You can't forget the mashed potatoes. That's gorgeous. And then just to make her pretty, hit her with a little bit of parsley. And there you have it, guys. So this, I can't wait for you guys to give this recipe a try at the house. It's a really, really simple method of cooking some blackened salmon. It's unique. It kind of changes up the pace of things. You know, when you get tired of eating chicken, get tired of eating hamburgers all the time, you got to make yourself some salmon, eat healthy, do it the right way. As always, thanks for watching. Check me out on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at First Time Feast. Peace.